will provide for their payment. Finance never brought it forward, or the Ministry of Agriculture could not have pushed it through to make sure that the payments are catered for in this financial year as we had promised. So that one gives their petition at least some value. But then, Mr. Speaker, through you again, I want to put it to you that I think this side of the executive has actually given up on the coffee sector, because there are so many policy issues captured in this report that if we do not, as Parliament, push them, the coffee sector is dead. One, they made a decision, and I believe that is the basis on which we allowed coffee to be taken on credit, because they had made a decision not to supply seedlings suddenly without notifying them. That one we agreed and we pushed for this. But then, even after taking that decision, there is no commitment to pay them. That's unfair, because when you look at the budget provisions, there is nothing. But then number 3, Mr. Speaker, the coffee sector had a roadmap, and we agreed in the roadmap of 2017 that we shall be supporting coffee farmers with seedlings, because there is no way they are going to be supported under the PDM as as the cabinet wants us to believe. They are saying that the money for seedlings was sent to parish development model. But when you look at having 1 acre of coffee, seedlings that supply 1 acre of coffee, you require 1.2 million shillings. But then, under parish development model, the maximum one can borrow is 1 million. That means I cannot plant coffee on 1 acre based on the borrowings from parish development model. So taking a decision not to...
Thank you. I think, colleagues, we shall need one thing. We shall need the minister, I don't know whether it is agriculture or finance or local government, to come here and indeed give a thorough explanation on how money for parish model can be used to purchase inputs. Yes. Because you see, we are always referred to parish model. We are referred to parish model, we are referred to parish model. Can they come and explain so that it goes on record, we know this is what you decided? And because there are people who are not benefiting in parish model. There are villages where you find in parish model, if people were to benefit, each one would get like 50,000. The big parishes, especially in towns and all that, and yet they also want plant coffee. So can we discuss that issue of inputs being financed by parish model, and we get a way forward on it? Honorable Nanda.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, I want to make one correction. That coffee, when planted, you don't need to plant it again the following year. Has 59.5 million acres. If we did an audit and confirm how many seedlings were distributed in this country of coffee, we would have planted even inside Parliament here. An example I want to give on these areas, and that's why we're saying the people who are distributing coffee may not be giving us the right quantity. If you are talking of 42 billion shillings, divide by 100, a seedling, you come to 450 million seedlings. Divide by 400 seedlings per acre. You are talking of over 1 million acres. Tell us that land where it is for 1 million acres. Mr. Speaker, I am a coffee farmer. I am giving you an example. That's how it is in our place. I'm giving a right. Yes, for us, that's what it is going for. Mr. Speaker, yes, yours is different. I'm coming from Bugisa, I'm a coffee farmer. Mr. Speaker, I am a coffee farmer. The coffee I'm selling and making money out was planted by my grandfather. Now, if there are new people who are giving more seedlings, Mr. Speaker, they should come and demonstrate, because we have been giving about 10 million seedlings per year. Is it true they are the right ones? And Mr. Speaker, the earlier the Ministry of Finance gets up and audits these seedlings, the better. The reason I'm raising this, there were 2 sectors which were giving seedlings. UCDA was giving seedlings, Operation Wealth was giving seedlings, And which seedlings are which seedlings? You will get somebody bringing 100, maybe 10,000 seedlings and say that's 100,000. Mr. Speaker, a football pitch takes on, if you're making seedlings, a football pitch takes 300,000. If some 300,000 seedlings, you will get somebody and saying, I have supplied 3 million seedlings. Did he plant 10 football pitches? Mr. Speaker, we should not blame Minister of Finance. We should blame even UCDA. We should blame Minister of Agriculture. And when they come here and say we never budgeted for, and they are lamenting to us, the budget you bring comes from cabinet to us. If you have not put in, you have not argued your case in the cabinet, you don't come play to us in parliament. And you cannot blame parliament that they never put the money. The first person who should have put the money is the Minister of what? Agriculture. Mr. Speaker, if we use parliament as a clearinghouse, we're going to have a problem. You have mentioned it well. Yeah. It should stop bringing debts here for people. Debts should be taken to the Minister of Finance. Is the one responsible for payment and the entity which took good.
Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, I want to conclude on this one. Conclude for the help of farm.
No, Honorable Nandala.
No, Mr. Speaker, just give me an opportunity.
Now you're accessing a microphone without my permission. So you know, I have stopped Honorable Enos. Now I don't know the justification for allowing you. So let's move. Let's be fair, colleagues. Let's go to another one. I'm going to, yes. Let me pick Honorable Songa.
Thank you.
I pick Karamoja. I pick Karua.
Thank you very much.
I pick Isinjiro.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
No, ones who have already spoken, I will give you a chance later. I'll pick Isinjiro.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker and the members. On the coffee, I'm on record, even in this house. I come from a coffee growing district, and we grow Arabica coffee in Zombo. I have 1,184 farmers who have prepared their gardens. They were waiting for seedlings because we could not plant last year because it was already a dry season. That is one part of it. And then on the issue of the arrears, yes, I want to agree with Honorable Nandala that sometimes people were inflating figures of seedlings. So we needed, and at one time I also proposed in this house that I think in future it is better to go to the field and see exactly what was planted and we verify from there than someone signing that we have received this number of seedlings. But the question remains, what do we do with the current nurseries with seedlings and the farmers are waiting for these seedlings? What do we do with them? Because this is the planting season in northern Uganda. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, honorable colleagues, when we are pushing for money for the seedlings, we agreed with the minister here that for nursery bed operators must know government has stopped buying seedlings. It was here. And we said whoever continues with nursery beds will not petition us here. That one we made it extremely clear on the floor. So I don't know how we can allow such an issue to again come back. Now, the other problem which we are getting, and which is very clear on seedlings, the moment distribution of seedlings is supply driven, not demand driven. The moment it is driven by nursery bed operators, because I remember in my district, there is an old woman who ran to the chairman, said they have brought a truck of seedlings and they have dropped it on my door. Now what do I do? And you see, they come with some money and say, you sign that you have received. Okay? You have received these seedlings and then you go for them, they now take the papers to go and demand. So that is supply driven, not demand driven. Okay? So we have to be very cautious on these cases, colleagues. What Honorable Nandara raises is a very, very pertinent issue, issues of accountability before we say pay these people, pay these people. I'm sorry for debating. But I'm sorry, Honorable Face, I'm sorry. Rule 77 prohibits me.
Thank you, Right Honorable
Please,
Speaker.
Lilian Paparu and then Alex Biaruga.
Right Honorable Speaker, we are talking about a foreign exchange earner for our country, the coffee, for which the whole country is proud of, even regions that don't grow it. Right Honorable Speaker, when I learned that coffee was earning the rest of the country lots of money, I said my people in Napak will not be excluded. I decided to open a demonstration farm for coffee. And the farmers, it's already grown, and the farmers in Napak have been demanding. It is unfortunate that at such a time when we know where money is, where our people can earn income from, then the seedlings will not be supplied to certain parts of the country that missed it, because we are now developing a new strategy. That inequality alone is not good. That at such a time, UCDA can no longer commit. I have been reaching out to them on this matter. They can no longer commit because they also fear because of the arrears. So in terms of equalizing Uganda economically, we shouldn't be shy to invest in things that will bring income to every part of the country. Coffee is one of them, and there is no competition on it because it is something we export. No region should say we are being overpowered by another. So let that be in our mind as we discuss, as we put in our thoughts to this thing called coffee, so that we do not say, why is Karamoja speaking? I have planted in Napak and it is doing well. So if it can grow in Napak, why can't it grow in Kareng and in any other part of the country? That one, Right Honorable Speaker, even if we have PDM, as matter of strategy, let's be deliberate on coffee for the economic reason of being an equalizer. So that those people who are excluded economically can also join in the market economy. Let's be deliberate. Honorable Enos has explained one thing, which I want to expound on. The PDM gives you 1 million. The coffee farmer requires 7 million before he earns from 1 acre. So realistically, the two don't meet. And so it can no longer be a reason for not giving seedlings to those regions that missed it at the time of supply. I submit.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I'm a bit disappointed when I heard the Minister for Agriculture giving a reason why the people of northern Uganda did not plant. And the reason is that the time caught up with them. It is as if the country or the ministry was knowing that in northern Uganda the seasons for planting were just all of a sudden. So that is very disappointing. Right Honorable Speaker, I also want to echo that why the seedlings in West Nile, I mean in northern Uganda, overgrew is that when supplies were being made, when distributions were being made, we were receiving seedlings in trucks. Under Operation Wealth Creation, under Ministry of Agriculture, the local farmers who were certified to make their nursery beds in northern Uganda, especially West Nile, their seedlings were never bought. So we're receiving seedlings in trucks that were coming to West Nile at the wrong time. Others were already overgrown. So our local farmers who tried to put up their nursery beds, their seedlings were never bought. So we are here fighting that people's arrears should be paid. But I can tell you, the people of northern Uganda, first of all, they did not supply. Are you going to pay them? Was it their fault that they tried their best to raise nursery beds and you decided to ferry seedlings from other places? So it is very disappointing. My voice I want to raise here is that those who planted at the right time that the government was ready to buy should also be looked into, and they should also be paid because it is not their problem. Thank you.
So seedlings were brought from other regions to be, that's very unfortunate. When you have nursery bed operators, you know, that's very, Honorable Biaruga.
Right Honorable Speaker, colleagues, I want to thank you. Right Honorable Speaker, I had an opportunity to read the book titled Putting the First Last and Last First by Robert Chambers. It explicitly and clearly puts across almost what we are talking about, disjointed linkages in every sector, everywhere. We are talking about people more than willing and ready to supply seedlings to people who are ready and willing to ensure that they produce coffee, and a population willing to earn a lot of money and improve their livelihoods and have transformation, as is clearly being sung every day in every forum, at every other opportunity given. But here we are discussing to put in some little money. Is it 40 billion? Most sincerely. And then at the end of the day, we are being told to be less selfish, to think about the locals, to think about people who sent us here, to talk on their behalf. And look at what we are being told. Go to PDM. PDM, which just started the other day, half of the money has not even yet been given out, paid out to the beneficiaries. We are not going to wait, in spite of the fact that, look, if there was a very serious person somewhere in the ministry, in charge of planning for this country, maybe should be the ones actually forcing us to look at the budget immediately, make changes here and there. The circumstances, the situations are changing. Look at what the World Bank is doing, bulldozing us, bullying us. Yet we are here failing to do what we are supposed to be doing. I think it's a height. Whatever Honorable Nandara has said, I do want to agree with him. He's a very good guy. They understand those figures very well. But that's gone. It's done. We should have done it before. Let's start from a clean page and say, before you supply, we want to audit. But now it's already done. They were supplied. Somebody will claim that I did, but they dried in somebody's gardens. How will you audit that? So I think it's important that we start afresh, but to commit ourselves to ensuring that we buy these seedlings from wherever they are, pay for them, encourage them, and try to undermine World Bank that is forcing us to do what we are otherwise not interested in. PDM is very good, but PDM is not going to buy you. Look at ourselves.
Honorable Betty Ngora.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I'll talk for Apache. Now, Apache district knows about cassava, beans, but not coffee. I am therefore appealing to Ministry of Agriculture, UCDA, to seriously talk about coffee growing, promoting it, so that Apache district can also join the other districts, so that we can achieve the so many millions of bags of coffee in the future. Our soils are very fertile. Now, Honorable Speaker, I don't see how Uganda is committed to the coffee roadmap. Why? Because of the issues that the Committee of Agriculture has brought out. I fully support the committee's recommendation on what they have found out. I only pray that Ministry of Finance, which is the pillar, which is the key to all these issues, should take action so that the monies that are not paid to the coffee nursery operators be paid to them, so that things run normally. I thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Ezama Siraji, Geoffrey Onzima.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker.
I'm still mentioning the people to speak. Leku. No, these ones have already spoken. the two of you today you spoke. So I want crossover to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Santa, today you spoke. You spoke earlier on. No, first 10. Yeah. I want first to give a chance to those who haven't spoken. Yeah, please. Each one of us, quick.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, for giving this opportunity. Right Honorable Speaker, on this issue of coffee, I really concur with the Honorable Nandala Mafabi on what he was saying. Coffee seedlings have been supplied even to farmers who have not prepared their gardens. So in this respect, we are trying to waste the government money and are dumping seedlings for the purpose for which the people do not intend to do. In my constituency, I have a farmer who prepared coffee seedlings because the farmers were not in a position to ask for the seedlings. He was moving around in homes,
vending,
asking people whether I can be in a position to supply for you coffee seedlings. Without knowing the knowledge of how those seedlings are planted, how they are prepared, farmers were taking those seeds. What could be the end result? Automatically, they could not know how to maintain them. And our government money has already been spent on what cannot yield anything. So, in this respect, those are now gone cases. We now need to strategize in order to see that when we are going into this venture, and it is a venture that the president is now trying to advocate all over the world, to see that we go into where we can add value, where the government can get money. So we also need to strategize where we could see that what is being supplied can earn for us money, not just spending it anyhow. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I already picked you in your order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I just want to make two comments. One is that my thinking is when government engages into an activity, that activity must have been budgeted and the money must have been provided for that activity. Many times when we're in the budgeting period, we see a lot of money is going for domestic areas. And these domestic areas, monies are not paid. These monies are not paid to the people. In one way, we are weakening local capacity. We have been talking about local content, but we can only achieve local content when we will build the capacity of our local entrepreneurs. So I think we should not really continue with this. Some of these people borrow money from banks, and this causes a lot of problems to them. Others lose their property in terms of money, in terms of building and arrest, yet government does not pay them. When you compare the local people who have engaged in business with foreigners, some of these foreigners access soft loans from their countries as opposed to our businessmen. So I think we need to build the capacity of our people. That's one. Two, when we engage in activities, we should really aim at achieving much for this kind of activity. We had field visits to Luengo, Chitagwenda, including Kabale. We got very many coffee seedlings which were abandoned and they were drying there. During Operation Wealth Creation, the emphasis were about supplies. But ideally, there should have been connectivity between the person who is supplying and the end user. The best should have been that who are those who are supposed to plant these seedlings? What?
Thank you. Yes, Laku.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I join colleagues in the nightmare of our coffee seedlings going into trees. This is not the only issue. Right Honorable Speaker, we have seedling farmers for mangoes, which have grown into forests in West Nile. They are struggling how to get to government and also negotiate for their money. This is a continuous case. The issue of coffee seedlings into Paris level, which the chair mentioned, there are coffee seedlings which came into my constituency, but was airdropped into an ocean. You cannot field them anywhere. I will take the members here for what we do for tobacco. The tobacco seedlings are not given free. They are taken as a loan. The fertilizers are taken as a loan. But here we are busy distributing coffee seedlings where they dry up before they reach. And this is the mess we are having as a country. For example now, why don't we remove the bottlenecks that hamper tobacco growing, especially for West Nile? So that farmers get to grow their tobacco because it has no financial implication on the government. Everything is done by the farmer. It's the farmer that buys the seedlings, the farmer that buys the fertilizer, everything. I'll submit that the coffee seedlings, we should avoid, give it freely, no subscriptions will come on it. Farmers will demand and pay for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, colleagues, I had picked you in your own order. Yeah. So now I'm this side. Entebbe municipality, starting with Entebbe municipality, Sekabira, Kirbat.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues. Honorable Speaker, I want to add my voice to colleagues that have shown disappointment. The Minister of Agriculture. Indeed, Minister of Agriculture has proved a shame to this country for mismanaging this very good project. Honorable Speaker, you guided that it has to be at least a demand-driven kind of, but the Ministry of Agriculture went ahead to sign a contract, and they delivered quite a number of seedlings that the minister could not absorb. The Ministry of Agriculture is not prepared. Government has a lot of land in this country, where Ministry of Agriculture can also invest like any other country. As the Ministry of Agriculture, they would be telling us that you have over 1,000 hectares of coffee. They could order, delivered, and the government can plant their own, chambers of coffee. But they depended on farmers who are not prepared, who are not trained, who don't even have chambers. A colleague told me they supplied seedlings in Amul. Where farmers don't even know how to plant coffee, they don't even practice coffee, it's not part of their culture, they don't know anything. So the minister did not even bother to train our farmers on how to plant this coffee. So it was a waste. Government has lost a lot of money under the so-called technical staffs of Ministry of Agriculture. They owe us an apology for mismanaging taxpayers' money. They are not even prepared. They don't even have plan for this country and how to develop agriculture. Government has a lot of land. They can even apply for this kind of land we have. We had a lot of land in ranches and all that that is dysfunctional. We can have our own plantation.
Thank you. Honorable Sekabira. The municipality, Michael Kakembo has a lot of land.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I have two issues. One, it is a question that I want to address to the Minister of Finance, because the answer he gave was an ambiguous answer when he was asked on how and when this money can be paid, the 42 billion shillings. Because, Right Honorable Speaker, these people mortgage their land, houses, and we cannot give a flat answer that Cabinet is looking into this, because this is money that was supposed to be budgeted for. As members of Parliament, on all sides of this House, we cannot move government to include any monies in the budget. So I would want him to answer. Two, Right Honorable Speaker, coffee is very important, and it is a very good project that I think that has been touching so many lives in this country. However, Right Honorable Speaker, for example, in Katikamu North, out of the 100 million shillings that were supposed to come through parish development model,
government has only released 25, 27 in some parishes. I do not think it is very possible for any farmer to access this money to grow coffee in their farms. I would think, Right Honorable Speaker, where one would need over 1+ million, it is very impossible for people to access this money and at the same time return this money, because PDM money is supposed to be returned in a very short time. Coffee needs more than 2 or 3 years to be harvested, 7 years. So it is practically impossible. I would want to ask government why they halted the giving out of seedlings, because this is something that had picked up, and I think we shall not realize the target of the desired production. Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker.
Thank you. Honourable Minister for Finance, it will be very critical whenever, I don't know whether we should do per quarter, when you release money for parish model, you share that information with Parliament. Because now we are in situations where a member stands up here and he says they have received this much, and then you hear no, others have received much. So, okay, but for information purposes, you find members don't even know, like how National Drugs Authority, no, how National Medical Stores informs members of how much has been released. So if you could publish in the papers, this has been released per parish or per district, at least it would be easier for us to say, you received this money.
Mr. Speaker, in financial year 22-2023, which closed on 30th June 2023, releases to parish development model were 100 million plus the prior year releases for all the parishes in this country. Mr. Speaker, I undertake to avail information to all our colleagues at an earliest opportunity so that every member of this House is updated.
The earliest opportunity can be tomorrow, sir. Yeah. So lay on table.
Mr. Speaker, tomorrow afternoon, I will lay
Parliament
on the table.
starts in the afternoon.
Yeah. I will lay on the table all information pertaining releases we have made to parish development model.
Thank you. That will help a lot. And if you could do quarterly, we shall be really grateful. Yes, Honorable Gilbert.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker.
But Gilbert, you had spoken earlier on. Let's start with those who haven't submitted.
No, you already given me, Right Honourable Speaker.
Please, let's be fair.
Okay.
You know, when we agree on a policy that covers all of us,
okay. It's okay, yeah. Most of
then I can get some time, I pick some of you, but we give chances to everyone. Yeah, whenever I will pick you. No, I'll pick you whenever. We are going like this. Honorable Pascal Menya, Honorable Namuga, then Honorable...
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, for the opportunity. Right Honourable Speaker...
I'm going to pick all of you. Okay.
We appreciate the vision of the government on looking at anything concerning perennial crops. Seedlings, coffee seedlings have been supplied in Pade district. I want to speak for the people of Pade. Right Honourable Speaker, in Pade district, like colleague has mentioned, we've not known coffee growing as much as other regions, but we appreciate the support that they are sending us. However, as the leaders of the country, as Parliament, let us look around things that will bring returns. When we talk of return on investment, whatsoever has been sent to the community of Pade as seedlings to be grown, I want to confirm to the country that it might not reap results. Why? Because the people still do not know how to grow the coffee. We would rather request the ministry to first start by sensitizing. Wherever they feel they would want to take seedlings, you first go, sensitize community, show them what to be done before sending seedlings. But when you start by sending seedlings before educating the people who are taking the seedling, that means you are not being fair to the country, because we need a lot to help our country. Secondly, Right Honourable Speaker, we have farmers who want the seedlings, but how to get these seedlings from where it's being grazed is not easy. We would also request the government to think about growing or raising these seedlings region-wise, because transporting it all the way from Central, it might not be so good, because by the time you're picking it from Kampala.
Thank you. Honorable Namuga. Then Honorable Nyangwe.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I think it's an opportune time for departments and agencies of government to wake up and start strategically thinking about what they do in these agencies. When it gets to the Ministry of Agriculture, specifically on issues of coffee, Right Honorable Speaker, we've adopted the up-down planning, and we've not planned well from the bottom. That is the villages where we come from. Right Honorable Speaker, go back to the structures of the ministry. Go to the extension workers. With due respect, the extension workers no longer do anything at that level. They come to offices and sit. Look at, if you tell us that you've given out coffee worth 40 billion, go down there and look at the productivity. Is there value for money for the coffee that we've supplied so far? Right Honorable Speaker, for me I think the Ministry of Agriculture, not the Ministry of Agriculture alone, all the agencies and departments of government, I think they are sleeping on job, Right Honorable Speaker. When you get, for example, to Maogola, people want the coffee. People have tried their best. My colleague was talking about sensitization. UCDA, yes, they may not have the money for the seedlings. Can we see them down to the ground, training our people on how to take care of the coffee, how do you plant, all those sensitization engagements no longer take place, Right Honorable Speaker. So even before we get the seedlings again, can we see you down, the Minister of Agriculture, you've been giving out tractors, you don't even follow them up. So for me, I think there is a lot to do. A lot of money has been wasted. I should say it is wasted because the productivity is not seen and the production. We've just hosted the G25 Africa Coffee Summit. Everyone is committed to coffee as a strategic crop. But what are you doing as the ministry? For me, I wasn't agreeing to the fact that our money in agriculture for coffee was put in the PDM. Right Honorable Speaker, I should say we need to revisit the PDM. We need to revisit it to ensure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. I want to thank the committee for the report. I have two issues, Mr. Speaker and colleagues. The first issue is about government expenditure. Mr. Speaker, government, as part of its financial reforms, introduced commitment control system. And in the commitment control systems, the accounting officer must ascertain availability of funds before procurement proceeds to the last stages. Mr. Speaker and colleagues, I'm wondering, how did we reach this level? 40 billion in areas passed through and approved by the accounting officers. Possibly there is something the Minister of Finance needs to inform the House. Secondly, the budget emanates from Cabinet. We have heard from the Minister here that Cabinet resolved that they would pay these areas in 2 installments this financial year. And the Minister has also confirmed to the House that indeed no funds are available in this budget to fulfill their commitment in the Cabinet, as he has said here. Now, how do we help the executive? Because they are looking very shabby, Mr. Speaker, that they sit, resolve, and then come here to lament that even the finances are not available in the budget. Now, who helps them at this angle? Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Cabinet, why didn't you provide that money in the budget and you agreed the supply and you're going to pay them in 2 financial years?
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. My concern is about the vision of to increase Uganda's coffee production to 20 million bags by 2030. That one, Speaker, in my constituency, I'm a coffee farmer and I'm a member to Kamulichiwose Coffee Cooperative. some time back the government used to supply fertilizers, used to supply pesticides, and right now it's no longer providing seedlings. This is a false hope. How are you going to attain, how are you going to achieve this vision, seriously speaking? So when you look at the solutions, may I suggest that the government should use like organized institutions like Uganda Kingdom. It brought a program called Imwanyi Terimba under the leadership of Katikiro Charles Peter Maiga. And they are doing very well under that program, like to supply coffee seedlings, the fertilizers. They can use even other kingdoms like Bunyolo, like Busoga, because for them they are more organized than even the executive. And lastly, it's about the areas about like 42 billions. I suggest that the Ministry of Finance should commit himself and at least say that under the supplementary schedule that this money is provided, because
Thank you, Kanyike.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. From me, I think it takes the government commitment. When we are in the budget process, 37 billion were allocated to add value on coffee. Even though it had contestation here and there, but it was put under classified. So if government allocated that money, the 37 billion, to add value on coffee, and is now coming up saying that they don't have the 15.9 billion to the coffee seedling suppliers, it is very unfortunate. In Masaka, especially in Greater Masaka, we are coffee farmers and we are known for coffee farming. Even though a resolution was taken to stop giving out seedlings, I think it needs to be reconsidered. In Masaka, we used to get the seedlings from the Masaka Cooperative Union. But you much aware, Right Honorable Speaker and members, that many of the cooperatives are incapacitated. They can no longer supply the seedlings to their farmers. So such a resolution needs to be reconsidered to provide seedlings, especially to areas which are well known since independence that they are coffee farmers. I thank you.
Thank you. Sasaga.
Yeah, thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I grew up while making nursery beds. And I come from Bugisu, where we grow a lot of coffee. If you look at most of this coffee we have from our parents, grandparents, it was not supplied by government. But the farmers were given knowledge of how they can make the nursery beds. The seeds are readily available and very cheap. If you go to Naro, you'll go and get seeds, quality ones, at around 6,000 to 10,000 shillings. And the 1 acre somebody was talking of, even under the parish development model, that farmer who gets even 200,000 has the capacity of raising a very good coffee garden. As long as this farmer has the knowledge of where to buy the seeds and how to raise the nursery bed, he'll always end up putting up. If you buy 2 kilograms of the dry bean, the parchment, you go and you raise a nursery bed. 2 kilograms alone, you can supply more than 1 acre. I don't need the information. And the second, the Right Honorable Speaker, the nursery bed operators need to be paid. In making a nursery bed, there are 2 types. You can make one nursery bed for your domestic garden. That one is very cheap. You don't need the potting materials. But once you have been committed to make a nursery bed for commercial purposes, it must meet the minimum standards. You must do the potting, you must do the spraying, there's a bit of procurement, there's a lot of transport and all that. That one becomes a little bit expensive. Me, what I could employ the...
You're the only one I'm going to allow to conclude.
Yeah, thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Me, what I could employ the ministry, that as they pay off the areas, they should pay and stop there. Next, what people need is to train them how to make the nursery bed, how to nurture it, and how to get the good quality seeds. We're in the G8 summit, and we are participants. We interacted with countries, Right Honourable Speaker. When you go to the countries where coffee has been overgrown, for example, Ethiopia, the government doesn't supply seedlings. Government has trained people how to make the nursery beds and plant. Thank you so much.
You see, honorable colleagues, I know it's an extra burden on you, but for colleagues coming from coffee producing areas, and this is very humble advice. I have, because I have tried it myself. I'm making nursery bed to give free seedlings to my voters, to my people. Now I'm just giving advice, and it's a humble one. It's better than ambulances we buy, if I can tell you the truth, because this one is going to help people, and these people will appreciate you. These people will appreciate you, because the biggest problem, and I had raised it much earlier, when I said, the people, we are going to stop distribution of seedlings. But have we prepared a few nursery bed operators in the communities to prepare quality nursery beds to produce quality seedlings for people to even buy? Because now, if a honorable colleague has told you, coffee which has been distributed in the area has been coming from another region, it means you have not given incentives, you have not attracted the local people to produce seedlings. Now, in my area, you would find seedlings are coming from, for example, Ishaka. So, if I'm to transport seedlings from Ishaka to my village area of Ruhinda North, I'll find that transport alone will take away all the money. So how are we preparing? And Minister for Agriculture, you need to help us on this. When you stopped this and you said parish model, and for parish model money was taken to the villages, how have you prepared the people in the villages to set up quality nursery bed for seedlings? They are not there. If they are not there, what are people going to do? Okay? Yes, what are people going to do? They don't even have where to buy the seeds despite you giving money. The little money they will get from parish model circles will be used for transport. They cannot even buy seedlings. So how do we... it brings out the issue of Honorable Enos when he said, we've given up on coffee, the coffee roadmap. We've more or less given up on it. Honorable Aisha?
Thank you so much, Right
Dr.
Honorable
Wanka will
Speaker.
allow you as the shadow minister.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. I'm happy I'm speaking after Honorable Sesaga. We should be knowledgeable at the back of our mind that many of our people follow government programs to make investments because government is the biggest consumer. Now, when government started procuring seedlings from people, you remember they have said the report that government identified, qualified, people knew now government was buying seedlings, so they invested in that area. Now, when we stop suddenly, we affect people that had gone into that area. And Right Honorable Speaker, we should not blame these people for coming to us at that time when their seedlings were overgrowing. And in that regard, we cannot blame them for coming to us when they are not paid because they could not envisage that the minister was not going to actually plan for them the following year. I'm disappointed, and I pray, Right Honorable Speaker, that you put it to the minister to make a formal commitment to this house when is likely to pay these people. The second matter, sir, whereas I agree with Honorable Nandala that there was oversupply, a lot of seedlings were supplied, and in the backyards of some of homesteads, you'd find, even at sub-counties, you would find trees that are drying up. But the biggest question is, isn't there demand now? There is demand.
Should people now suffer consequences of the inefficiency of the ministry? Because at that time, they just supplied anyhow. Now there is demand, there is no supply. I pray that our people do not suffer inefficiencies in the ministry. No one should lie to us that PDM is solving this problem. PDM is for people in subsistence production. They even have a sorting mechanism in their system. If you mention you have land anywhere, you don't qualify. Now, this is self-defeating policy. It is for people who don't...
No, I allowed only your neighbor. So you can share on what I allowed. Honorable Joe Nokia.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, for this chance. I want to thank the committee for the report. I'd also like to thank government for identifying such a lucrative enterprise in coffee. Because when you look at what maize produces, maybe 500,000 shillings per acre in a year, and you look at coffee, coffee can produce 2 million shillings if it's done in a traditional way, and about 17 million if it's done with agronomical practices. Having said that, the minister himself said that central Uganda has been studied, western Uganda, eastern, but no studies or training has been done in northern Uganda. Looking at PDM to help our people come into wealth creation, coffee is one of the #1 enterprises. But when I looked, Madiokolo has a lot of land, but when I looked, I could not tamper to tell people start with coffee because it has not been done. The soils haven't been tested, trainings haven't been done. And so I would implore the government to take special interest in northern Uganda. We have vast land. We can produce the 20 million bags that government is looking for. But there needs to be testing of the soils. Members of parliament have said they've done it on an individual basis. But can we have a strategy for government for northern Uganda, and especially areas that have a lot of land like Madiokolo, to help the farmers also enter the wealth creation? Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Wanika.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to begin by giving some clarification. We have two areas of coffee production, those in Arabica and those in Robusta. The prices for Robusta, they are completely different from Arabica. And the seedlings for Robusta, they are not the same seedlings as Arabica, where you take a seed and put in a pot, and the next day you have coffee. For Robusta, we are using cuttings. Each cutting is 1,500. And I know that the speaker, you are in these nurseries and of Robusta and also in your area.
I stopped.
No, I mean your nursery. I'm not talking about the business.
Okay.
I'm not talking about the business. I'm talking about your own nursery, sir. I run a nursery. The amount of money that you invest in that nursery, an ordinary farmer cannot manage. It is a huge investment. I distribute almost 200,000 seedlings every season in my constituency. That's a lot of money. So for the government to simply abandon and say it is the PDM, the farmer is going to supply these seedlings, we have abandoned the roadmap for coffee. And the countries around us, in that coffee conference, Tanzania is going to take over and other countries. I heard what you were saying. For them, they are giving seedlings to their farmers. For us, we have abandoned. This was a very good program for government, first of all, for the economy, and also for the individual families at home. I want to implore government.
Conclude, Doctor.
Thank you, sir. I want to implore our government that before you abandon, let us put in place at least 1 or 2 years, ensure that we have the coffee nurseries in every locality where we target to produce coffee in this country so that people can produce and we can meet the target of 2020. I'm now here in 2030. It originally was 2025. I thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Minister for Agriculture.
I thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, and I thank the Honorable Banika This being a policy revision or reversal, I think I need to be given time so that I take it back to Cabinet to study, discuss, and come up with a decision. I beg to move.
Thank you. Honourable Minister for Finance, do you have anything to add?
Mr. Speaker, just one point to add is that we shall not do any further payments. What we are struggling with is how to clear these arrears, and then we put it to rest, because we are convinced that the monies we are sending to parish development model will take care of all these issues as long as clarity has been done on the issues which you have raised and also which have come from the debate. I thank you.
Now, Honourable Minister for Agriculture, let's give you 2 weeks. You come to this House with a comprehensive statement on how agricultural inputs are covered under parish development model, so that you show us clearly, so that we debate it, okay? And we give our input. And we want to know the impact, the projections. How do you think it is going to impact on the development of critical sectors that we've been supporting? All of them, from cassava to tea to maize to coffee, to all sectors we have been supporting with inputs. Okay? Then also the President had touched on the issue of subsidizing fertilizer. The cost of fertilizer here is still high. Other countries, neighboring countries, are subsidizing. Neighboring countries are subsidizing. The ones who are near the border of Kenya are finding a way of buying a bag from Kenya to support, because agriculture, that's what we have. And we are saying our focus is on people who have been working only for the stomach, who are under subsistence farming, and we are saying we want to support them now to grow both for the stomach and also the pocket. So this is extremely critical. Honorable colleagues, with all those very many issues, I don't want to disturb my chair. Our team did a good job, and the questions were for the ministers who are around. I now put a question that a report for the Committee of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries on the petition by coffee nursery bed operators to government to pay Uganda shillings for the 2 billion areas for supplied coffee seedlings be adopted. Those in favor say aye, and to the contrary nay. The ayes have it. Honourable Minister, we give you 3 months to bring an action taken report on this matter. That will be from Minister for Agriculture. Honourable colleagues, tomorrow we are going to start with a very critical item. That is, I've received very many calls from very many people when we are handling this issue. The narcotic drugs bill. This is a very, very critical item for the country. The country is watching. Drugs are finishing our people. And as we talk, we don't have any law. The drug dealers, I think, are having a field day. And government quickly assembled the bill together. We have to handle it tomorrow and ensure that this gap, this lacuna we are having in society is settled. If you can remember, the law was struck out on a technicality for lack of quorum. So I appeal to the whips, government chief whip, opposition chief whip, together with your whips and the Dean for Independence, to mobilize your colleagues tomorrow at 2 to be here so that we can focus on this extremely critical bill. And members of cabinet, kindly inform your colleagues so that we raise quorum tomorrow and we handle this critical bill tomorrow. House adjourned to tomorrow at 2 p.m.
UBC, inspiring Uganda. Pick of the day on UBC. Was brought to you by
MTN Momo Pay is the easy way to pay. Dial *165*3# or use the MTN Momo app. You don't need cash. MTN Momo Pay is safe and free.
And in talking news, MTN has improved on their daily voice bundles. You can now call across all networks for the same price. We've talked to several eyewitnesses on the ground, and this is what one of them had to say.
Amos, did you hear about the MTN daily voice bundles?
So, to join many more other Ugandans enjoying these MTN daily voice bundles, dial *100 *21# or use the My MTN app to start enjoying. Stay tuned for more offers from MTN.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Alright team, it's now or never. This is our first penalty shootout. But you can bet there will be many more to come now that we are in the senior league. So let's go out and win this.
Kokotoa, yeah! It's all or nothing for Kokotoa now. Their team captain Kiduchu needs to score. If she misses, Matimbo will win and Kokotoa will be knocked out. Captain Kiduchu! Captain Kiduchu! Captain Kiduchu! Captain Kiduchu!
It's okay, Kiduchu. You scored the goal that kept us in the game. If it weren't for you, we wouldn't even have gotten to penalties.
I can score such difficult goals when we're playing the game, but I completely freeze when I have to take a penalty. I let you guys down.
You weren't the only one who missed. I did too. We need to practice taking penalties. It's a very different skill.
So what are we waiting for? Let's do something about this. The 5 of us are Kokoto's selected penalty takers. We've got to put in the practice so we don't let the team down again.
Yeah, you're right. Let's stay an extra half an hour after each training to practice our penalties.
I really need to get home.
Kiduchu, you're our captain.
And with practice, you'll be scoring amazing penalties, just like those amazing goals you scored at all our games.
Oh, all right. A couple of penalties won't hurt.
Good thing you stayed, Captain. You need the practice.
The carrots are not cut. The table is not set. The water...
Sorry, Mama. The match went to penalties
No. We agreed that you can play football so long as you also do your chores at home. All I ask is that the water be fetched, the table be set, and the veggies be chopped so that when I get home from a long day of work, dinner is ready to be quickly cooked and served. And so that I don't have to worry about the safety of my daughter.
Sorry, Mama. I'm fine. I'm safe, but these carrots might not be. Let me take that over before you turn them into carrot dust. I'm so sorry, Mama. I know it's my responsibility, but we lost the game because I missed a penalty. And I'm captain, you know, so that's my responsibility too.
Kiduchu, how many times do I have to tell you? You cannot stay out past 5:30 p.m. I need you here, and I need you safe.
Aw, dinner's not ready. I just got home and I'm starving.
Leave us be, Kolo. We're cooking.
Not fair.
Aw, what's wrong, my little Kidu?
What's wrong? This is what's wrong, Kolo. You came home late. You just nap and watch TV, but you don't get in trouble. It's just me.
Well, you're a girl, Kidu.
What's that got to do with it?
Well, you know, it isn't safe for girls to be out late.
I wasn't out. I was with my team and my coach, practicing important skills. I understand Mama's concerns, but I've been safe, and I still made it home before dark.
Yeah, but that doesn't change the fact that she needs your help with the cooking.
Why can't you help with the cooking?
I'm a boy. I don't even know how to cook.
Neither do I. I just fetch the water and chop the vegetables and set the table.
Well, I don't need to do all that. I do my own chores. I get up early every morning and I sweep this whole place and I rake the ground outside and I even clean the windows on Tuesdays. That's how I earn my time out with my friends and my nap time when it's your time to cook.
But it's not fair. You get to do whatever you want in the evenings while I'm just stuck here chopping veggies.
You'd better stop complaining. Mama does not look happy.
It's just completely unfair. He comes home even later than me, and still she's okay with it.
I know, Kiduchu, that's super unfair. But if you don't keep walking, we're all gonna be late to class.
Oh, you're right. I'll meet you there. I've got to go use
But the girls' toilets are under construction.
Boys only. Oh, so far. I can hold it. Nope, I can't. No, I can't.
So who remembers how to
I'm
calculate?
sorry, Miss Malota, but you know the girls...
You are late, Amani. I'll be expecting you to turn in an essay tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock sharp on the importance of punctuality, being on time.
But I had to walk...
No excuses. Sit down so we can continue our lesson, please.
And this just shows the importance of being on time.
That's what Mama keeps saying to me.
Punctuality.
5 more minutes of stretching. Then we'll start the extra practice for our penalty takers.
I don't know if I can stay. My mother needs me home.
Come on, Kiduchu. You may be our captain and star striker, but you need this penalty practice more than...
Do I let my team down or let my mother down?
You've got a tough decision to make. It might be a lose-lose situation.
Captain Kiduchu, come on, we need you.
If I stay, I'll let my mother down. She needs me to help her get the cooking ready. But if I leave to help her, I'll let the team down because I won't be ready for penalty shootouts. How do I decide? But I still don't know what to do.
Well, you've got to weigh your options. What will you gain? What will you lose?
Decision making is a vital skill. Make good decisions and avoid bad ones. Got to weigh. What could you lose from your decision? Weigh. What could you gain from your decision? Best decision to make is one that gives you most gains. The best decision to make is one that gives you most gains.
I want to practice my penalties, but Mom needs me at home. What should I do? Oh, what should I do? If I stay back for practice, I'll gain improving my penalty skills. But I'll lose 'cause my mama will be mad at me. And if I go back home right now, I'll gain 'cause mama will be happy. But I'll lose by not improving my penalty skills.
Decision making is a vital skill. Make good decisions and avoid bad ones. Got to weigh. What could you lose from your decision? Weigh. What could you gain from your decision? Best decision to make is one that gives you most gains. The best decision to make is one that gives you most gains. I should have weighed my options this morning. I spent so much time running in circles while trying to make a decision of where to go so I wouldn't be late, and that's what made me late.
I could still make it home on time.
Penalties!
Sometimes there's no easy option.
Coach Tony, I'm really sorry, but my mother needs me home by 5:30. I can't stay for the extra practice. I've thought about the decision, and if I don't go, I will lose my mother's trust. But if I leave now, I might lose my chance to be a penalty taker for our team. It's a lose-lose situation.
Aha, I'm glad you told me, Kiduchu. Maybe I can help. First tell me, why does your mom need you home by 5:30?
Because she wants to make sure I'm safe. And because she needs me to prepare the ingredients so they're ready to cook when she gets home from work.
Well, I can help you in the first part. Give your mother my number and I can make sure she knows you're safe with us. But for the cooking part, you're going to have to negotiate that one on your own.
Negotiate?
Quick, it's almost 5:30. You need to sprint like the wind if you're going to make it home on time. Bye-bye, and I'll see you here for the penalty practice next week.
When are they finally going to finish building the new girls' toilets here? I'm tired of walking all the way over there to use the secondary school toilets. Don't leave school without me!
We've got to go do something about this. Mr. Fundi? Sorry, sir, but when are you planning to start actually building our toilet?
I've been waiting for another guy to show up all day. I hurt my back lifting these blocks without help. I can't build this thing alone.
And I can't keep being late to class because I have to walk all the way over there just to use the toilet.
Sounds like a lose-lose, but maybe we can change the options. What if we helped you with the building?
Then I'd have help to get the job done.
And we'd have access to a closer toilet.
That's a win-win. Let's do it.
What's wrong?
Well, I need to decide what size to make the front and back walls. I have 24 blocks for each wall.
So you know the size of the wall. It'll be 24 blocks big.
That's the area, but that doesn't tell us how many blocks across and how many blocks long.
The length and the height. I remember this from math class. Area equals length times height. So the length times height should be 24.
You've got it.
Well, 4 times 6 is 24. So we can build 4 blocks across and 6 blocks up. Let's try it.
Each bathroom stall is about 2 blocks wide. So we'll have one stall here and the other stall here.
Just 2 stalls? That's way too small. What if you and Kiduchu are both in there? I'll still have to go somewhere else.
But we only have 24 blocks. And 4 times 6 is 24.
24. Well, 8 times 3 is also 24. So let's do 8 blocks across and 3 up.
That'll be 1, 2, 3, 4 stalls.
There we go. Plenty of room for all of us.
Maybe across, but not up. It's too short. People will be able to see my head in there. That won't do at all. We need it taller. Let's use that wall.
That's not enough. We need 4 stalls. Don't forget, we need good hygienic standards too, Kiduchu. Nice roomy stalls with room for a waste bin, a water tap, and
enough room up top for those of us with big hair. 2 tall stalls is enough.
No, we can't have both ways. Kiduchu wants it tall and Armani wants it wide. And you both have good reasons. That's normal. In any project we do as a team, people have different things they want. So we negotiate until we get a solution where each of us gets a bit of what we want and gives a bit of what the other wants. We know what each of you wants to get. Now what are you willing to give?
I really want 4 stalls, but I guess 3 stalls wouldn't be so bad either.
And I want it tall enough so that I won't be seen from outside, even if I grow another foot taller next year, but I guess it'd be okay as long as it's this tall.
That can work. If you're each willing to reduce by 1 block from your desired length and height, then we can build the wall 6 blocks long and 4 blocks high. 6 times 4 is also 24.
Now that was a good negotiation. Are you both in agreement?
Oh, it's finished. How did that happen so fast?
These kids have been helping me out in their spare time.
Well done, kids. I am very impressed. But what motivated you to help build the toilets?
I was late to class because I had to walk all the way to Kokotoa Secondary School just to use the toilet. And then I had to write that essay.
Oh, I'm sorry, Amani. I didn't realize. Sometimes we are so focused on what we are teaching that we forget to pay attention to our students' basic needs. It really wasn't fair to leave you girls without another option. But you've shown you are very resourceful problem solvers with very strong arms. Those blocks are enormous. So, may I?
Negotiation. Weigh your options. Figure out what you want to get and what you're willing to give. Aha! I've got it!
Kolo!
What's up? You woke me up from my nap, Kidu.
And I have a proposal for you.
A proposal?
Yup. I'm going to negotiate with Mama to stay out a little bit later for practice. But first, I need to have something to give. And we are going to have a negotiation so I can get that from you.